Hello, Jeff. Here is your sewer scope from today's inspection. That's me in the basement, just kind of giving you a little bit of orientation, pointing out where we're at. That's that toilet flange in the no longer used bathroom area of the basement. It'll take me a bit to get the camera past this first elbow. It's a little bit sharp. Cast iron is coarse and tends not to allow for kind of an easy slide if you're trying to navigate around a corner or a bend. So give me just a second and I'll get my camera head rolling down the pipe. So typical cast iron, you're showing, I would say, what would be kind of moderate to minimal corrosion. This section of the pipe I don't believe is used very much or at all. That's a little bit of calcification or just old buildup. There's an inlet right there on the side. This is where the fun starts to happen, right? Things start to drain into this section of the pipe. I think everything before that is from that old bathroom that's not used. This is curious to me. We're in cast iron. It almost looks like there's a delaminated part on the top. It looks like there's I don't want to say that it's caved in, but there's something built up at the bottom of the pipe that may have come from above. This is definitely going to warrant further evaluation. Yeah, it's just curious to me. On the way back, I will look at that again after I've run a bunch of water through the pipe, and I'll show you why. So a little bit of moderate buildup on the bottom of the pipe, not terrible, not major scaling. I apologize. My counter on the distance counter on that is on the fritz. I thought I had the issue worked out. It's been working fine for the last dozen or so scopes, but today it decided to go kind of wacky again. Here's a transition to clay. Notice up ahead, the whiter section of that ring, that connection point, that's an offset. That's where the pipes aren't meeting up exactly, which isn't terribly uncommon. You've got a little bit of root growth there and an offset. This is a better connection point right there. You can see some scarring around some of these offsets, so it tells me that the pipe's been cleaned, if not recently. That's a relatively big offset in the pipe. Periodically, they've known to clean out the roots like that are growing in. This is a very big offset, and it's at the bottom of the pipe, so ultimately I'm not going to be able to get past this part. I can't tell if there's any separation there. Looks like there may be a little bit at that bottom section. And again, you can see that chip right there where someone's run a cutter head over that probably. I'm going to run some water here in a second. I'm going to turn on some water from that utility sink to try to get enough to float over this offset. But I would imagine it's about 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch in height. So for a camera lens, that's maybe 1.5 to 2 inches in diameter. It's going to be tough to jump over that. So ultimately, I can't get past this. There are some heavy offsets and that previous piece. This pipe may be a candidate for lining. And again, with the root growth as well, another reason why it might be a good idea to do that. I would defer to a sewer and drain company and see what their recommendations are. Also, having them come out and seeing if they can get past this offset would be helpful as well. Hard to tell how far out we are, maybe 40 to 50 feet. The proximity to the street is relatively close, so you may have another 20 to 30 feet to go before the city connection, maybe a little bit more than that. But Ultimately, I would say that this really kind of needs a little bit more evaluation, digging in a little bit deeper on this, especially that first section. I would want to get a handle on what that is, if it is some sort of failing in that cast iron section. Feel free to watch the return journey again. I kind of park a little bit at that potential damage area and look deeper into that. But beyond that, please reach out to me if you have any questions. I'm always happy to be a resource.